Hello and welcome back to another Python for GCSE and IGCSE Computer Science. This time we're going to be focusing on a 1980s retro snake game. Okay, as you can see, we're using only 3 libraries. As before with the Pong game, we're only going to be using import turtle, import random, and import time. I'm not going to use pygame or anything like that, just keep it nice and simple. Turtle is obviously going to play the biggest part in terms of setting up the screen and setting up the little graphics. In this case, we've got a square and a circle, and that's all we need, and a border, and obviously a score. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into Python, okay, and show you how I've set it up. In Python, there's lots and lots of comments, and we'll take it from there. Here's the code in Python with lots and lots of comments. You can see I've commented on almost every line. For example, screen.tracer turns off the screen updates for fast rendering. But let's run this. Okay, so let's run this. I can show you a quick insight into how the game works. So run module. Okay, we've got W, A, S, and D keys for up, down, left, and right, and a space key to start. The game won't start until I press my first key, which in this case will be W. Okay, and then I run round and round with the keys, and these keys, of course, you can change to whatever you want. The idea is to collect as many fruits as possible and grow the body of the snake. Okay, but as soon as you hit the wall, then it's game over. Okay, so this is basically it, and this is done just using importing random, importing turtle, and importing time into Python. Okay, oh dear, I've hit the wall, and there we go, it resets. Okay, so that is it. So let's have a look at the presentation and see how we build this game. Okay, so we'll start off. I'm going to import turtle, import random, and import time. Okay, I'll set up the screen. This screen here, and this screen, as you can see, is 600 by 600, and the title of the screen is called Snake Game. Okay, the background screen color is going to be black in this case, and I'm going to set the screen tracer to 0, which basically means stop any screen updates so it renders quicker. Okay, then I'm going to put a border on this. The border pen is white. You can see this thing here. I'm going to set my position, put my pen down, okay, and draw a border. I've used a for loop in this, look, for the 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, frying range, yeah, forward 580, and then turn left 90, and go around like that, okay, and that would be the first step. So have a little go at that before we move on to the next. Okay, for the next step, we need the instruction screen, okay, and this is where we're going to have the white color for the pen, okay, and we're going to use instruction screen right. Okay, and this is going to start at position 0, 0, 0, 0, okay, where X and Y are both zeros, and this is going to be our welcome message. Now, as you can see, I've put this little \n for the new lines. Okay, so welcome to snake, \n, use WASD to move the snake, \n, eat the red food to grow, \n, and so on and so forth. Then, a little bit like HTML, how this works, we align it center, and the font equals Courier 20, and it's normal. Okay, so that's how we do that. Now this, I've put this all, I've moved this around. What I insist you do is try and do all this just on one line. You can see we've got the three comments in here for the text, but try and do it all on one line. Okay, then obviously we need to draw the snake, but that's the next bit. Head equals turtle.turtle. We've got a green square, okay, and the head is going to start at 0, 0, okay, and the head direction is going to be stop. It's not going to move, okay, it's just going to sit there until we press one of the buttons, W, A, S, or D. Then we need the food. The food is going to be red, it's going to be a circle shape. Of course, it's a little bit tricky to see a circle shape on this sort of square grid. We're talking sort of square pixels, so although it's a circle, it does look more like a square. Okay, again, the food color can be wherever you want, but I'm setting the food at position 0 on the x-axis, and then it's going to move up 100 pixels. Okay, so it's going to be just under here, under the word score. Okay, speaking of score is going to be set to 0. Okay, and I've sorted out the fonts and the formatting for the score. Again, align center, Courier 16, and normal, but it's up to you what you put in there. Okay, segments is sort of an empty list at the moment. Yeah, because going back to this, because that's where the food's going to sit. It's going to be segments. Is going to be part of the body of the snake. And then we need some functions, a function to go up, a function to go down, a function to go left, and a function to go right. This is what we're going to be doing for the keys. Then we're going to define the move. If the head direction equals up, yeah, y equals head, the y coordinate, and the head dot set, y plus 20, so it's going to be moving up 20 sort of pixels every time. Same for down, same for left, and same for right. But as you can see, we're using pluses and minuses. A little bit like if you're doing this in Scratch, only this is text-based. And then, of course, we've got to bind these keys to go up. Okay, define function go up. It's going to have the W key. Go down is going to have the S key. Go left is going to have the A key. And go right is going to have the D key. Okay, so I'm just going to nip back into Python so you can have a little look at this. Okay, so set up the screen, set up the instruction screen, the snake head, the food, okay, the segments, okay, let's say an empty list, the score, and then we're down here, look, functions, to change the direction of the snake, and then we've got to move functions to move the snake, and then keyboard bindings, and that's it until we get to the main game. So I'm going to define game, yeah, and I'm going to use two global variables, a global score, okay, which means it can be used anywhere, and global segments, again, which means that these can be used anywhere in the code, okay, and then we've got all this to do, okay. As you can see, it's not the biggest game in the world, and obviously all the red text you can see are comments to do with the code, okay, but I'll screenshot all this and put this at the end of the video so you can take your time and have a really good look through it. We'll go back into the presentation just to explain further the main part of the game. Okay, so here's the main loop. Okay, so again, set my global variables. Now, while true, screen.update, check for the collision within the with the border. Okay, so if the head at any points collides with the border is greater than the X position 280, or greater than the X position minus 280, and the same for the Y-axis, then the game will stop. And then we've got a little segments part here where if it eats the food, yeah, then we've got a little segments part here that if it hits the wall, obviously the score is set to 0 and the segments are clear. There's no more segments on the snake's body. Continue to the next slide, check for collision with food. Okay, if the head distance food is less than 20, basically we're sort of scattering the food across the grid anywhere between these coordinates, X and Y coordinates, and then we're going to have a new segment on the body. Okay, if the head touches the food, because the food is 20 pixels, so if it gets within less than that distance, it's basically going to eat the food, and a segment is going to be added to the turtle body. There's also going to be 10 marks, 10 points added to the score. So there we go. So that's that. Okay, that's just from the previous slide. We're going to move segment 0 to where the head is. Okay, if length of the segments is greater than 0, then we've got to add a segment to the next position. Check the head for colliding with body segments. You see, this is another problem. While we're moving the snake around, I'm going to try and do it with this. If I move the snake around and move too fast, if it touches the tail, then it's going to stop again. The snake can't eat itself, basically. We don't want the snake sort of running into it, and I'll show you that back in Python. Okay, then finally, start the game on spacebar press, screen.listen, screen.onKeyPress, game, space, and then we open up the screen, the main loop, the main program. So I'm going to go back into Python and show you a little bit more about this, and then I'll give you all the screenshots so you can have a really good look through and see how you would build this game. What I was talking about, if I run this module now, get ready on the spacebar, W key to move up, we'll keep moving round and round. See, it's quite a quick game, very quick game. But as we get longer and longer, of course, the tail starts to grow, and we've got to be careful not to run back, otherwise, as you just saw there, it crashes and resets the game. Okay, so that's what I mean by eating itself. The snake can't eat itself. Okay, I'll put the screenshots back into the presentation, and then you can have a little go yourself. And here are the screens. So screen 1. I mean, by all means, pause the video, have a little look. Setting up the screen, instruction screen, snake head, food, and then the segments. Setting up the scoring. Setting up the functions, part 1. Functions, part 2. Binding all the keys together. And then the main loop of the program, this is the first part. Okay. Until we get to the end where we keep the screen window open, the screen.main loop to run the main game. That's it. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and I will see you for a new game next time. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Please continue to ask questions, leave your comments, hit notifications, and please subscribe. And finally, if you wish to buy me a coffee, I'd be truly grateful. Please visit buymeacoffee.com/learning zone. Thank you very much indeed. See you next time. Bye for now.